Voltron Season 3, Episode 3, The Hunted. Very awesome episode. I really love the way that this one ultimately played out. Like, all around, I think this might be my favorite episode so far because it starts off really strong and it ends really strong, and it leads into really, I would say like the rest of the season, and there's still some more stuff to come because in this episode, I feel like definitely one of the big focuses was the fact that Allura is a new paladin, and she's working on being the new paladin of the Blue Lion, and it accepted her, but then just like, you know, the first two seasons, mostly the first season where the characters first got the lions, she's going through that stuff now, where she's going through this situation like, hey, what the heck, like, you let me be your paladin, and now you're not really working with me to really help me survive. We're in this crappy situation. I need your help, and I need you to truly work with me. So for one, we can find the team, and two, and most importantly, considering they're dealing with Lotor in like super genius mode, we need to survive because they're in this crazy situation where Keith is their leader. He's sending them into this crazy situation as they, go out to attack Lotor, and he's chasing them down because he had the tracker. It's like, we're going to end this now. We're just going to destroy him no matter what. They make a good point. I think I referenced a couple things from this episode in my last review, but Hunk mentions like, hey, 3 out of 5 of us are in totally different lions. Not everyone's exactly in the best of shape right now. We've seen that happen. Lance is dealing with the red lion, which is like 1,000,000 times faster. That's like the main issue he's having is like, geez, this thing is so freaking quick. I can't even really comprehend it. So Lotor decides, all right, well, if they want to chase us down, I'll kind of play with them. I'll gather some extra information, and he ends up tricking them into going to this planet that'll split them all up after he gathers a bit of extra information. Like, okay, these are not the same people. He knows that it's not the same coordinated group that took out his father. It's like, this is different, so we can make this work. We can make this happen. So he takes him to this planet that's got just crazy, insanely wild storms coming off of it. They're flying towards the planet, and I'm like, that should be a clue. Like, they even kind of reference it, and Keith is just like, nope, we're going in. Like, he's not being the greatest leader right now. So, they go into this planet. It's like, all right, we need to stick close in order to basically communicate with each other. Like, all our sensors are going haywire, communications are shot after, a fairly short distance, but everyone moves at a different pace, especially Allura being in, the Blue Lion, and she's trying to get it. Just naturally speaking, it doesn't move as fast as it can because she's like the new paladin, and it's kind of not really working with her to like speed up and catch up with the rest of the team. So they're getting split up, further and further apart. Ultimately, Lotor is kind of effing with them. He's flying around and flipping and spinning. There are some parts where the ship would spin and flip, and I'm like, did it even need to do that just now? There are a couple of times where I saw that happen. I was like, I feel like it didn't need to spin right there, but it did. It was just the whole episode. The ship's like flipping and spinning around, and it was pretty cool to watch. And the whole team is pretty much getting disoriented. Everyone's kind of saying the same thing, and Keith is ignoring everybody. It's like, look, we need to figure this out. After Allura crash lands, Hunk goes back for her, and Keith is like, all right, you two keep up with me. And he kind of he basically just keeps going, and it's like, look, we need to make sure we stay together as a team. So they do for a little bit, and then they truly get split up after that, because that's when Lotor is like, okay, time to stop playing around, because he gets them exactly where he needs them, and they start, shooting these blasts off, which basically explode right in their face. So they're shooting off all these blasts, and that's how they really get separated, because the blasts send them all flying off in different directions as they try to shoot at Lotor. And he's like, great, now I've got everybody split up. They've, shot powerful lasers that just, blew back right in their face, sent them all flying off in crazy directions. And that's when he starts to go basically on the hunt for Allura. Like, he realizes, like, alright, she's the one, she's kind of like the weakest link at this point. So he's like, alright, gonna take her down first. So he goes after her, and that's where it really comes into play. Like, she's the new paladin, and she is struggling with this Blue Lion. And she's doing everything she can. She's talking to the lion, and they get to a point where she's just with the lion, and she's freaking out, and she starts to cry. It's like, look, I truly need your help to make this happen. Like, I have to be a part of this team. I have to help excuse me. Yeah. Sorry, I'm sick. Mentioned in my last review, but for any who may have skipped it, I'm sick. That's why I got my water. That's why I keep taking sips, because my throat keeps drying out. But she's freaking out. It's like, I need to be able to be a part of this team and basically help save the universe. And so the lion finally starts working with her, creates, it was pretty awesome actually. Using sound waves, it makes a sonar map of the entire planet. So even though she can't see, it has a map. She has a map now because of the lion. So that was super cool. She's, working with the lion. She's able to move a lot faster, move through where she needs to move through, deal with Lotor a little bit, and then she ends up finding the rest of the team because she had the map and she was able to scan everything. And so after they have this situation where she kind of dealt with Lotor a little bit, it's like, okay, time for me to back off. So he takes off and it's like, all right, he leaves. Keith actually, once everyone gets together, he realizes his mistake and it's like, all right, we'll deal with him another day. And it was actually kind of cool because Lotor was already like this, but Keith is building up to this point, and they end up having the same idea, which I thought was really cool because Keith, as a new leader, had to come to the realization that he was screwing up, and it's like, I pushed everyone too hard. We will, fight him once we're ready. Like, we'll go to him when we're ready to go to him. And then it cuts to Lotor, and his generals are like, or mainly the one general, like the bigger lady, she's like, why don't we attack them? Why don't we, destroy them right now? And it's like, well, we need to do that later. Like, basically, we need to do that later. We'll attack them on our own time, because by the end of everything that's happened, they form Voltron, and it's like, it's time for us to get the F out of here. Like, even though they have Voltron and everything is working out fine for them, Keith knows that they need to take off. Even after they form Voltron, it's time to go. Lotor realizes, it's not the time to push. And I'm curious what would have happened if they both decided to keep pushing. I am very curious what would have played out, because they formed Voltron in the end, but they still don't have that 100% connection. They had enough to, officially form Voltron, which was pretty cool. It was a great moment. It was just like the first season where it's like, we can't figure it out. And it took the full first episode, which was an hour long. It was like 2 episodes. So it's kind of like that. And that's why in my last review I mentioned this episode and episode 2 go perfectly together, because the last episode was them getting into the new lions, and then this was them, at least Allura, officially becoming a part of the team, and then they're able to form Voltron again, even though three of the 5 paladins are relearning lions. So I thought that was actually very cool. I was like, I like the way that it played out and how it built up, and then Voltron finally shows up in the 3rd episode of the season. So I thought that was really great. And they shoot through all those people too. Like, they had a cool moment. It's like, they're dealing with Lotor. He gets out of there, calls for his backup, and they're able to form Voltron. And then it's like, okay, I backed out and called in some backup. Now it's time to just leave. Like, they have Voltron now. It's time for us to officially just be gone. We get the F out of here. It is like, let's leave. No more of this. And so that's kind of what happened. So Keith has the same idea. It's like, I pushed the team too hard. We'll go to him when we're ready. And then Lotor basically says the same thing. Like, we'll have them fight when we dictate. And I was like, that's pretty awesome. It's like, they had kind of, same sort of concept. It's like, when we're ready to do it, that's when we'll fight. Even though, Lotor's side, they might have the numbers. The Paladin side, they might have, Voltron. It's just like, we don't know 100%. Not everyone's at the top of the game just yet. Let's just back off, and then we'll do this. We'll do it later when we feel that we're 100% ready. And I just love that idea. It's like, all right, both leaders of each side are kind of, feeling the same thing. Like, we could probably make it work, but I don't want to risk it. Kind of one chance sort of deal. So, really like that idea. Of course, everyone's officially able to work together. We see some cool moments from the generals, specifically the one with the cat, the character that's blind. I'm just going to assume it's a she because all the other generals are female. She actually, forces the dude to say what she wants, and I thought that was very cool. So, not only can she see through the eyes of the cat, but she can, it's almost like a Jedi mind trick. I assume she has to be holding on physically to the person, but she forces him to, send out the distress signal, which is kind of what gets things, really going. And I thought that was very cool. I was like, okay, that was pretty awesome. I certainly didn't see that one coming, so I was like, that's interesting. This isn't what I expected for this character. I thought she was just gonna torture the dude and then force him, to speak. I was like, nope, she she kind of, well, I'm sure she had to force him, but she uses her ability and makes him say whatever she wants him to say. So I was like, alright, that's pretty cool. I see that coming into play later. We have, her two abilities, the one girl who can turn invisible, and then we have the other two. So the one is very strong, and then the other, we haven't seen exactly what she can do yet. So I feel like they all have special abilities, and we just haven't seen them yet. And I'm just kind of waiting. I was like, alright, so we have, the big girl who's obviously stronger, but I feel like there might be something extra there. Maybe she can get even bigger. That would be interesting. And then we have the woman who's blue, and it's like, okay, let's see what she can do. So it's just like, what special abilities do each of these characters have, or are they just, maybe skilled fighters? Because the one woman is very strong, and then the other woman who's, like all blue. Still haven't seen exactly what she can pull off yet, but 2 out of 4 of the characters have like legitimate special abilities, like camouflage, seeing through the eyes of the cat, controlling people and forcing them to say what you want them to say. And I'm like, you got half the team doing that, the other half have to have like some special abilities they just haven't shown off yet. So that's my theory. I could easily be wrong. They could just be, good warriors, but I'm like, once you do half the team, I'm like, the other half, they gotta have something like crazy, some crazy special abilities they just are waiting to show off until they like either get into combat or, just the situation calls for it, even if it's not actually combat. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope I'm right, because I would love to see some new random special abilities just to be cool, and then it makes it more of a challenge for the paladins when they go up against them, kind of one-on-one, that sort of thing. So looking forward to that for sure. I'm excited for the next episode. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like they find Shiro. I don't think that was Shiro, because it was someone who had like longer hair, and he didn't have like the bit of white, so it was like, it was someone who was tall, but it was like, it kind of looks like Shiro, but I don't think it's Shiro. I think it's somebody else. So maybe that's, I don't know, it can't be Pitch's brother, because they have like the same color hair. This is definitely a person with black hair. So maybe it's Shiro, maybe it's an illusion, I don't know. There's some tall person with black hair, so I'm like, I don't know who this is, but I don't think it's Shiro. So I am excited to watch this next episode, but I really love this one. Voltron is officially back. The paladins are, working together, especially Allura. She's working better with her lion. I'm excited to see Lance actually utilize the red lion, considering the reason the red lion chose Keith was because it's the hot-headed lion, just like Keith was the hot-headed person. Even as a leader, he's still that, but he's learning, of course. But, excuse me, I want to see how that plays out with Lance, where he learns, to cope with the excessive amounts of speed that the red lion has, and learning like its abilities and stuff like that. I'm just very curious how that's ultimately going to play out for them. So I'm looking forward to them really learning to utilize the lions better. I would love to see it, even though it can't really happen unless they sneak into the base. I would love to see Keith actually get a hold of the Black Paladin weapon, because Lance gave his up to Allura, so now he doesn't have one. But technically, Keith can't really use his on the Black Lion because it's the Red Paladin weapon. So I would assume he'd have to give his up to Lance. So it's just like, not sure how that's going to play out. Like, is he just going to be without one? Are they eventually going to get it back in this episode? Or not this episode, but this season? So, million questions there, but really love this episode. Glad Voltron is officially back. Went through the full sequence. I actually watched it. Sometimes I skip it because honestly they show the full sequence every single time. So sometimes I do skip it, but this time it was like, it's the first time this season, so I was like, I'm going to watch the full Voltron sequence, because it's kind of awesome too. It's the 3 episodes in. But really good episode, of course. Would love to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. And I definitely want to know, whoa, I did not expect her to start barking. Definitely want to know what you guys are hoping to see from Keith and Lance as they get more depth at using their lions. I feel like Allura will most likely unlock another new ability, but for her, I don't think it's as big of a difference as it is for Lance and Keith. Like, her lion, I feel like, is actually, I say like Allura's and Pidge, and I guess Hunk. I think those are the 3 most normal lions. And then I think the red lion, with it being like super fast and stuff like that, it has that connection. Although that might be with everyone, because they showed Keith in the last season when he connected to the lion from like super far away. That could technically be with anyone. We don't know if that's specific to the red lion. But I feel like his being super fast and just the way that it is, and then of course the black lion is the black lion. I feel like those 2 are the most unique as far as what they can do. So I feel like, Lance and Keith learning to truly utilize those 2 lions is a bigger impact than, Pidge, Hunk, and Allura learning theirs to the full extent. So we'd love to know your theories on how that's going to play out with Lance and Keith and what they might unlock that we haven't even seen Shiro do as far as the Black Lion, and what we haven't seen Keith do with the Red Lion, and Lance will be able to pick up on. So we'd love to know your theories on how that'll play out. And of course, want to know what you guys thought about the episode in general, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.